Okay, you guys, I'm going to talk about inside of this video one skill that's made me more money than anything else, and becoming insanely proficient at this skill has made me a lot of money. So I just want to be pretty forward with you guys inside of here. This is something that I have been working on for years, and the better that I become at this skill set, ultimately the more money that I make, the more views that I get online, and the larger of an amount of like leverage that I build as a person constantly increases by me getting better at this skill. So hopefully the goal at the end of this video, you watching this are able to get some takeaways, at least kind of see like, you know, what it takes to become good at the art of yapping and how I've been able to make a ton of money with it. So we live in a day and age where the thoughts and being able to like resonate with people is the difference of somebody that's able to get millions of views versus somebody that's able to just get like a few hundred. And the better that you are at becoming at this skill of yapping, the more valuable that you become in the marketplace, because you're able to communicate with an audience, you're able to give a voice to people, you're able to get inside of the heads of people, and it allows you to become significantly more proficient, significantly wealthier, to make way more money. And ultimately, at the end of the day, yapping is just a form of sales and communication and portraying yourself in the light that it resonates with people and makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to try to unpack this. I don't necessarily have a clear science for this, but I just wanted to make a video. So over the past few years, me now at the age of 25, I've made over a few $1 million from mostly, honestly, just yapping and from the ability to put my message out there, putting my voice out there, and then utilizing the distribution platforms that we have these days of YouTube, of TikTok, of Instagram, of Twitter, of all these different platforms. There's so many different ways to, once you are proficient at being able to communicate with the viewer and communicate with the reader and communicate with the person that is consuming of the content, it's made me a ton of money. And it's also the skill set of copywriting. So this involves whenever I make faceless YouTube videos, the script and the messaging and the ideation behind the idea. The skill set of yapping has been able to make me a ton of money with that. And then also just making these videos as you guys are watching now. Like one of the videos on this channel, I think hit like 90,000 views. I haven't looked in a little bit, but just after starting this channel 2 months ago, I've been able to make like at least over like 30-40 grand of doing this channel in just 2 months. And I've been able to do that multiple times over. I have another channel, it's called Canup, my main channel. And that one, a year ago, I was making a ton of videos just like these ones, which now I've kind of moved that content strategy over to here. But I was purely just kind of yapping. I would get on podcasts, I would kind of talk about my like what I'm doing, and I just became insanely proficient. So how do I develop this skill? How does it actually translate to money? How can you apply it? So how I developed this skill is ultimately I originally started with doing a sales job. Actually, that's, you know, the sexy thing. I started off with sales, and I would go into people's houses and I would sell people vacuum cleaners. It was like one of those door-to-door jobs. It was my freshman year of college. I just started doing sales. I was a pretty awkward, introverted guy. So for me to develop this skill set of what's perceived extroversion and being able to communicate things is genuinely impressive. I was awkward. I didn't know how to communicate things. I didn't know how to talk to people. I was always somebody that had like really deep thoughts, but there was such a huge disconnect of like these high level thinking that I had versus like bringing it back to reality of like, what is the thing that's going to make sense with the person that I'm talking to. And so for a long time, when I didn't have any tools and when I didn't have any skill sets and I didn't have any experience, it was insanely difficult for me to like articulate what I had in my mind and to explain what are the things that were going through my head. And so it was through the repetition of going into people's houses, trying to sell them like an expensive set of vacuum cleaners, seeing that like that vacuum cleaner being able to transform people's lives, and that actually being a tool of transformation for people to have better relationships, have a healthier household, to have healthier habits, was incredibly mind-blowing to me. To change the beliefs of somebody, to being able to pull out their credit card or, you know, pay for this thing was very mind-blowing to me. And then that translated into where I started doing real estate, and I started flipping houses, doing real estate wholesaling, and I was able to I was able to yap and build rapport and to talk with people and ultimately change people's lives by helping them sell their house. And then that translated to me making a YouTube channel where I taught other people how to build how to flip houses. That's what how to flip real estate. And when I made that channel, I was able to help a ton of people flip their first house and make their first $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 and to start a business online. And then that translated, then I started making different faceless YouTube channels, from Reddit channels to history, to travel, to space, to sports, to psychology, like all these different channels, and been able to make a ton of money off of all of these things. Because then I was able to get into the heads of the viewer, as in, like, you know, understand what the audience wants and be able to curate content for them, knowing, like, kind of catching them in at like where their states are at, what's going on in current news and events and politics, and in the world of, like, you know, what shows and movies are being out there right now on Netflix, or movies that are coming out, and taking that mindset of this frequency that people are on, and then changing, like, and then informing them, adding more value to their lives, entertaining them, educating them, and ultimately providing a lot of value to people. And then through the distribution of YouTube and then hiring production teams, we're able to kind of scale that out, and we're able to make a ton of money. So it's just like this skill set of, like, yapping, of being able to talk and get these ideas out onto something. And this is something that I'm not necessarily pro expert at. I talk to some people, like you see someone like a Dan Coe, or I have some friends that they're incredibly talented at being able to articulate their frustrations and desires of the person that they're talking to, and their fears and their pains and their doubts, and overcoming, like, beliefs, and knocking out huge domino beliefs that changes the entire worldview, or the entire perspective of the person that's consuming said content, or consuming said copy, or consuming said whatever. And so then from that, I started to sell different info products and coaching and consulting. Just a lot of people saw me having a lot of success with YouTube. And so many people would reach out to me. They would pay me like $10,000 or $20,000 to help them set up a YouTube channel. And I was mind blown. They were like throwing money at me to be like, Devin, help me build these things. And so this skill set of just getting good at, like, articulating what's in the mindset and the frame of, like, the viewer, and being able to put that out into a video format and into the ability to have a piece of content that a voice actor is reading or myself is talking about, and transform these lives. Then I started doing hundreds of consults, hundreds of sales calls, like thousands of sales calls. And then I started reviewing like thousands of sales calls once I started hiring people. And then I started, like, at this point now, you watching this video, it may be kind of hard for you to understand, but this is probably, you know, the 2000th video I've ever recorded. I've just made a ton of videos. Like, my first YouTube channel, the real estate one, which now I rebranded because I just don't do real estate anymore. And they were good videos, but I don't want people to reach out to me about real estate all the time because I don't really do it anymore. But that channel, I did over like 400 videos. Just every single day I would upload a video, and me consistently doing that for years turned me into somebody that just started to become good at it. I was awkward as hell at first. You can go back and watch the videos. They're really bad. But me at that initial stage, like, it transformed me into somebody that's super well articulate, and I can communicate my thoughts, and somebody that is insanely proficient at getting an idea out in a way that people were able to understand and see the world through the lens that I've been able to see it. And then I've also hired many different coaches to help me do this. Like, I've paid people $10,000 just to get on a few calls, just for them to, like, share, like, how they're able to do it, and then constantly studying other people that are doing it. So how do you get good at the skill of yapping? So a lot of yapping is understanding the viewer that you are talking to. So, like, right now, you watching this, I can assume that you probably you're watching my content because some of my videos in the past were about how to quit your job, or like me quitting my job and me telling my stories about that. And then me just telling you from my own personal testimony of, like, me going through that transformation, knowing that you probably yourself are going through that transformation as well. And so what it then becomes is me articulating that transformation, like articulating that same exact process or that same exact transformation through the viewer. So to get good at yapping, you have to understand, like, who's watching your videos. That's like rule number one. Who is watching your videos? Why are they watching your videos? What do they want? What are their fears, and what are they don't want to be? In marketer talk, we always call it Hell Island. And then which is like, let's say you're on the mainland USA and you want to go to Hawaii. Hawaii's Heaven Island. We want to, like, Hawaii is the place, the dream destination, the vacation everybody wants to go on, and articulating that really well. So it's knowing the, like, why people want to get off Hell Island, and what is Hell Island, and what is that? What is the language that people have? It's reading a lot of your guys' comments. It's reading a lot of people's comments. It's reading other people's comments. It's understanding what's the psyche of like the average person that's watching anything. And then Heaven Island is the desires, is the benefits, is like it's the place that people want to go. It's the thing that people want. It's the dream that people have. It's the vision that they have. It's the person they want to be. It's the person they want to become. It's the person they look up to. It's the dreams that they have in this dream life that they have. And so what you have to do is you have to get really good if you want to become a professional yapper and make millions of dollars like me. You have to get really good at understanding what's the Hell Island that people are living on, and then what's the Heaven Island that people want to get to. What's Hawaii look like? And the clearer the vision of Hawaii, like why Hawaii is so sexy, or why their dreams and their vision is so sexy, like what it is that they want for them, the better that you're able to articulate that to the viewer and kind of be inside of their heads and articulate that. And the best way to do it is to just pick one person. Every single like huge ass company you see out there, the business, like whatever, the Inc. 500 list that has insane amounts of marketing, whether it be a Coca-Cola or whatever, Airbnb or whatever, they all do this. They just do it in the sense of like they're selling a software or a product or a service and have billion, like they have like the best experts in the world at like understanding market resonance and market sophistication and levels of awareness of their customer, of their target customer, of their target viewer or their target reader, whatever it is, whatever the thing is. So for me, since these are YouTube videos, it's for my target viewer, and I'm just trying to make videos that get lots of views and help transform people's lives. So with that, what I have to do is define one person. It's easier to define one and then kind of make it for everybody as you define it for one, like to focus on that one person and then kind of like rope everybody in. But when you start with like the riches are in the niches, when you first get started, just kind of pick one person. For me, what I found, especially if you're going to like be going the personal brand route or making a ton of money that way, like I found it best to just talk to previous versions of myself. Someone like Ed Milet, he always talks about how we can always like, it could be anything. Literally just you got out of bed today. It could be you were able to quit your job. You were able to write a resume that was able to get you the dream job. You were able to sell a prospect into some sort of thing. You were able to go from a shitty salesman to a great salesman. You were able to go from a terrible video creator to a great video creator. This is what is known as the hero's journey. So a lot of us have our own hero's journey, and it can be something so simple, something so minute in our day-to-day lives that we perceive as just like a normal thing, that's whatever. But a lot of people struggle to get out of bed. A lot of people struggle to stop doom scrolling on TikTok. A lot of people struggle to make their first money online. A lot of people have yet to develop a skill set. A lot of people struggle to stop being an alcoholic. People struggle to stop doing drugs. Whatever it is, whatever things that you have accomplished, there is value in that to a person. There is a transformation there. There is a story there. And that story is able to change the lives of the person that is consuming said thing. And so what you have to realize is like, so then once you now define whoever it is, the viewer, or even if it's yourself and you're just making videos for past versions of yourself, which honestly is an easy way to do it because you've personally lived through those things, and the better you get at articulating it, the better. Then what you start doing is you start just like, you lead with the desire, or you lead with the pain that the person is facing. Sigmund Freud talks about there's two driving factors of human beings. There is pain and suffering that they're getting away from, and then there is desire and dreams and beautiful sexy things and hot women and supercars and houses that people want to get to, or freedom or vacation, whatever it is. That they are going from Hell Island to Heaven Island. They're going from pain to pleasure. And so what you want to do is you want to articulate the pain and the suffering that the person is going through your own, like that you went through your own personal story, or if you can articulate the pain and suffering that someone else is going through, and then talking about what it was that was the thing that transformed that all to made you realize that you need to be doing different. So, and then I'll share what the process is, and I'll tell you, like, I'll do an example. And then what you want to talk about is the desires, the dreams, or like what it is, the actions, what was the tool or the sword or the weapon in the movies, like, for example, a classic story is like the sword and the stone, and the guy was able to pull the sword out of the stone, and now he has a sword. He's able to kill dragons and do all sorts of, you know, cool stuff. And now anybody that wields this sword, and that's a really cool bird that's flying over right there. That's a big ass bird. It's like 4 feet long. It's like a hawk or something. But now that you have this now that you have this sword, and you can give this sword to anybody that's watching this video. So for this video, I'm giving you the sword of yapping. That is my tool that I'm giving you guys. And then now you're able to do all these cool things and become this dream person. And when you do this, and when you get really good at this, it starts to unlock biologically and psychologically the person to be able to go through that same transformation without actually having to go through the same suffering and the pain that you had to go through, and to instead of other people having to go through your discovery. Man, there's really cool birds out here. There's like a blue one over here too. So now that you're able to give this tool and this sword to other people, and they don't have to go through this whole process and be this, you know, go through the same thing that you did, and you can just give this thing to them, then they're able to get desired outcome or get away from pain and suffering without having to go through this whole process that you did, and you're able to unlock it mentally or psychologically to the person. And so you're actually giving the gift of like changing people's lives in this process, which is really incredible. I was always mind blown how well this actually works, because I was always like, oh, these are just words, these are just like things, like just text or whatever. But it's more than that. It's a transformation. It's a freaking recipe for people to change their lives. So what does this look like? So for me, let's say the skill set of yapping. For me, I always wanted to make a ton of money. I always had these deep thoughts that I was unable to articulate, and I knew that they were transformational thoughts, but I never knew how to ever actually change them. And so I always ended up in awkward situations. I was bullied in high school, genuinely, for not being able to not being cool. You know, I would talk about weird shit that nobody else wanted to talk about. That was just like too advanced for people. Like I didn't want to talk about, you know, the girls and stuff like that. Like I wanted to talk about cool shit. I wanted to talk about like aliens and freaking why the world is the way that it is and why it functions the way it is. And I was just a complete outcast. Like nobody understood me. Like I didn't know how to like freaking be reasonable or cool, or how to even get people to get on the same frequency or the same wavelength as myself. And then it was one day, I remember very vividly, I got this, like I really wanted to, like I always wanted to be rich, and I always wanted to make a ton of money. And so I was going to school for computer science, super nerdy. It was not helping with my articulation skills at all. Like if anything, it reinforced my introversion and inability to articulate. But then came the summer, and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get an internship as a like computer programmer at a cool job and get like a good income. And I wanted to make money. I didn't want to just sit around all summer and do jack shit. So what I did is my dad, he did sales for a long time and was always kind of like in business and management and like all sorts of stuff. But at one point in time, he had his own sales business of selling vacuum cleaners. So I asked my dad, hey, what's up with this sales thing? Can I maybe do this for the summer? Do you think that's possible? And he's like, oh yeah, I think I know somebody in our like the city that we're living in Minnesota at the time. And he said, let me call him and let me see if it's available. So we started talking about sales and like all this stuff. And I was like, dude, this might be a great opportunity to make some money, and because that was what I wanted. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to go back to school being like rich and cool and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. And so I started talking with my dad, and I was asking him like, what makes people buy? And what he shared with me was that he's like, out of anything, like it's like you're about to go into a fight. Like I can't teach you how to fight and throw punches right before the fight. But what I can tell you is this one thing. If you do this one thing, then it will make it so that way, you know, you'll probably get significantly further faster than anybody else. And he defined it to me as, I remember this very vividly. We were driving home from college, and then we were like, he ended up calling the guy that he knew, and they said that we could talk and maybe see if it makes sense for me to go do sales, because they didn't want to hire some loser. He didn't know much about me, but he knew I had my dad that was in the industry as well, so I kind of had that buy-in, that a little bit, that connection. And so I asked him, I was like, what gets sales? And he said this one word: it's excitement. If you act excited, let me fix this video real quick before we stop recording. All right, and so if you act excited, or if you can find out how to be excited about what you are selling and just excited about life, the energy that you have is contagious. And I really pondered on that. I was like, so if you're excited about something, then it gets other people excited about it. Interesting. So I went and did this sale. Like, I went and learned all this. Like, they trained me up on doing sales in the span of like 2-3 days. I ended up getting the job. They gave it to me, and I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. There's all this technical jargon, like all this stuff of like how to sell the product, and I was just like, this is a lot to understand. There's a lot to unpack. And I would go into appointments and I'd like be very complex, like I'd be very perplexed about like, oh wow, these people are intelligent. Like I'd watch other people do sales inside of these houses, and I was like, wow, these people are skilled. They're masterful of this. Like, you could tell they've done this a lot of times. And I knew that like this was from lots and lots of repetition of doing, these reps of going into people's houses and selling people and selling people vacuum cleaners, and just doing a lot and having all these experiences and just doing it a lot. And I knew that I didn't have that much time. Summer was only 3 months. These guys have been doing it for years. I couldn't figure it out. I would try, but I knew it was going to take a lot of work. So what did I do? I took my dad's advice, and I would go into appointments, and instead of trying to be like some expert, masterful like salesman and saying all the right things and remembering all the right ways of saying things, instead I just focused on what I had right then and there, which was my power that I could have, which is I was young and naive, but I was very excited for life, and I knew that this was a good product. I just knew it was a good product. It actually worked. It was crazy. It would like freaking clean up so much dirt. It was insane. And I knew that it was really helpful, and they would tell me all these stories about how these vacuum cleaners like really impacted people's lives. And so I would just knew for full conviction that what I had was far superior than anything else out there, and that I was excited to be there and excited to share it with people. And me just leaning, like I'm getting excited and energized just like thinking about it, telling the story. Me just being excited and energized in my pitch and in sharing this product with people, even though I sucked, like I didn't know what to say, I was getting sales. I was getting more sales than any other beginner typically that they have, because they're all trying to be technical and trying to say all the right things. And just because I started focusing on my energy and my excitement and just being excited to be there, because I was young, I was like 18 at the time, and I was just excited to like make money and get rich. And just me doing that had people buy. It wasn't like they were like just doing that, they got excited about the product. They felt like they're like, whoa, I need whatever this thing is, because if this guy's excited about it, then I need to be excited about it. And just through that osmosis of my energy being at a higher level and sharing that with people, and just trying to lean into my energy and my excitement and my youthfulness, got me sales. It got people buying what I had. And from there, then I started to, every single day, I would listen to, it's called like the Salesman Podcast. This guy would teach a skill in every single episode, which this was kind of reaffirming like the whole yapping and learning how to like, okay, here's the thing that you want to learn. Here's the benefit. Okay, I used to be this, and then I learned this. Here's how to apply it. Now I'm this, and this is how it's changed my life. And then seeing that over and over again, and then hearing all the stories, all the examples, and then having like actual lots of data points to then reaffirm my sales ability. Then it became really good. I was starting to sell like, instead of just a couple vacuum cleaners a week, I was starting to sell like 5 a week. I think there was one week I sold 7. And at the end of the summer, I ended up making like $15,000, which was pretty good for like a 3-month stint of I wasn't going to have an internship. I wasn't going to do any of these things. But then I started like actually learning the skill sets of sales. I learned what charisma was. I learned what charm is. I learned some of these like foundational concepts. I learned what rapport was. I learned a little bit of like negotiation. I learned about the sales process and the sales system and bringing people through this transformation. And then just doing all the reps and then just kind of like trying different things out when I was in people's houses allowed me to become insanely proficient at sales. I still wasn't necessarily a great communicator. I still lacked a lot of things. There was a lot of experience that I was lacking, but I was able to make money now because I had a vehicle to allow me to make money, and then I had the skill set that I was just of the excitement, and it formed me into becoming someone that was just a yapper, just sharing freaking my life stories, sharing about who I was, about how I was playing college baseball, about how I was, trying to, become somebody in my family and try to become the first millionaire and be the first kid with like a degree. I ended up dropping out, but like all these things and just sharing my story and my excitement, I started to become proficient on it. And then once I started doing the YouTube channel about real estate, and when I just started teaching people how to flip houses and how I did that, that's when I really started to get good, because then I would review my own videos and I would watch myself and I'd be like, oh, this is hard to watch. Like I'll probably even watch the beginning of this video and be like, yeah, I could probably jump to these points a little bit better. I only drank 1 cup of coffee today, so I didn't have all the most. So I probably could have, been a little bit more energetic, or started like just once you kind of get going, it's like a train. I can get better. So maybe how do I start that sooner? But I'll rewatch the tape. And it's just like anything else. Like if you watch if you're trying to get pro in baseball, if you're trying to get great at chess and try to become a grandmaster, if you're trying to become better at a skill set, when you review the tape and you watch it back, then you're able to actually see how much better, like where you are, where you great at and where you're not good at. And I'll watch my own YouTube videos. Like I'll probably watch this video multiple times. Like I watch every one of my videos over and over and over and over again, until it kind of nails in my brain naturally what I need to do to become significantly more proficient, and how can I articulate the desires and the traits that people want versus the hell island and the heaven island and the pain and suffering. And me reviewing these over and over and over and over again, like day in and day out. Like I literally fall asleep to my own videos sometimes. Last night I was watching my own videos over and over again. And me doing that is reaffirming, okay, what's good, what's not good. Especially I'll watch my viral videos and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see like why this one went viral. It was like I was really good at doing this thing. And then I just start to inject it in my personality, and especially I start watching other people's videos and I start breaking it down through that framework. Or I'll go to events very often and in-person things just so I can like feel the emotion too. Like I'll go to church, I'll go to watch sermons from pastors that are really good at what they do. I'll listen to really high performance podcasts, like as in like they just get maximum results and they get ludicrous results. I'll watch viral videos. I will go to masterminds and events and pay to be really close to these people that are making tons of money. And I see how well articulate they are and how quality they are at this skill set, and seeing these speakers that have made hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars and seeing how they do their thing or just become experts in their field. I myself then start to rewire myself as to like how I need to be. And it's kind of like a tuning fork that I start curating of like, okay, yeah, these are great things. Like this is a great frequency to be on. Okay, these things are kind of low. It's kind of a little bit all over the place. And even just me talking, you'll see I'm kind of like, I'm reminding myself how I need to show up in these videos. And then that skill set of yapping that I develop allows me to be entertaining, to where me just talking and me just presenting myself and just showing up and just being in the moment and being in the now makes me a lot of money. I'm insanely valuable because of who I am, and I'm able to talk to people that are making millions of dollars a month and become friends with them and hang out with them and be cool with them, because I've just like, I'm able to live in the moment. I've had all these experiences of knowing what is the things. Like I'll even just watch like in-person facial reactions of people. Like I'll say certain things and seeing how they're reacting allows me to like, it kind of gives me direct feedback of like, okay, yeah, say more of like, these types of statements get people hooked. These types of things get people to listen, especially like dealing with different personality traits and all of that. It allows me to do all these things. So basically you guys got to hear me in this entire video just freaking nerd out about like all these things that are going in my head. Sometimes I feel like I'm a psychopath because I'm like so psychoanalytical sometimes of just like this skill set, but also it's like, it's my sport. It's like what I have fun with. I have a great time of like the mental chess that is communication, of telling stories, that is of yapping, of being somebody that brings people through transformation through my words and how I present myself and how I bring like, am I giving authority bias? Am I giving confirmation bias? Am I validating things? Am I giving frequency bias? And yapping has allowed me, and the reflection of my yapping has allowed me to go through and do all of these things. So how do you make it? How does this actually make money now? So, fewfold. Part of it is it allows you to become insanely good at networking. When you upload videos too, and you create content on a regular basis, just people want to, like, you just portray yourself as a cool person. They just want to surround themselves with you more. And so it's brought me more connections than anything, insane amounts of networking by just putting myself out there. Just doing this YouTube channel, even though it only has like 4,000 subscribers at the recording of this video, I have made so many connections through this YouTube channel just naturally by me having the YouTube channel, by me getting the results that I've gotten in a short period of time, but then also people just reaching out to me and just like, wanting to be a part of my life, or like to see how they can help me out. And they just know that I provide a lot of value to them watching these videos. They want to like reciprocate that value that I've given and give it back to me. And then on top of that, with the skill set of yapping, then I'm able to bring people to these aha moments. I'm able to bring people to these epiphanies. I'm able to get people to start thinking and get different ideas that they didn't normally have already, like in this, this stream of consciousness that's already out there. And this universal knowledge and presenting them more different ideas or different takes or different outlooks on this universal knowledge that's already out there. And through that process, I'm able to bring them to acquiring new beliefs. I'm able to get them to understand that they need to work with me. I'm able to then, when they're working with me, I'm able to take it even further. And then now they're listening to me because I've gotten them to listen to me. Now I'm able to actually make transformation. And when I tell them things, or when I tell somebody exactly how to make $10,000 a month, with me, they actually go and do it and they go make money, versus someone else will tell you how to make $10,000 a month and people will do nothing with that information because they don't have these biases or this psychological process inside of their head, or their subconscious isn't actually listening to them. They could be telling you exactly how to make $1 million, but you don't listen to the person because they don't get you to listen, because they're not good at articulating it in ways that allows you to listen. And so I'm able, like, the better I get at this skill set, the more I'm able to get people to, I can give the same information as somebody else, and when I give that information, they actually do something about it. They actually take action. They're actually able to make transformation because of the skill set that I have developed and this talent that I've developed. And it allows people to actually go through transformation. And the more, and then ultimately at the end of the day, then it's just insane amounts of leverage. I have a huge team. I have a lot of people working for me. I've just had the distribution and the leverage and the volume because of you guys have provided to me. The more my videos get shared, the more they get liked, and the more you comment, and the more you interact with them, and the more you listen to them and watch them over and over again, the more leverage that I'm able to develop and change even more people's lives because of you guys and these distribution platforms that are out there. And so what you can do with all this information is a few things. This is a skill set that I recommend everybody to have, even if you're introverted, even if you're awkward as hell. It's just start getting your thoughts out there. We all have different ways that we're able to articulate things a lot better. Some of us, it's through video and talking. Some of it's one-on-one. Some of us, we're better at writing. Some of us are better writers than anything. And I kind of go through different phases. Sometimes I'm better at articulating things through writing, and then other times I'm better at articulating things through just talking and recording things and video diaries and stuff like that. And so what you start doing is you just start doing this. I prefer written or recorded content of yourself yapping, and then you can start to kind of review it and how it works. Especially if it's on a social media platform, you get direct feedback, not just from views and impressions and likes and retweets or whatever, or reposts or shares, but then what you also get is the direct feedback of people's comments. So I'm going to get a bunch of comments on this video, right guys? You're going to tell me what you think of this video, what you think of me, what you think of this type of content, me laying in this red chair. And then on top of that, I get to read those comments, and then I get direct feedback of what people are thinking. I just uploaded a video yesterday, how to make fucking money in your 20s on my other YouTube channel. And that video, I'm getting lots of feedback. Okay, the editing's good. Okay, this is good. Okay, I don't like this part, is what people are saying. And then I can start to understand, okay, what is good, what is bad, understanding the connotation of things, and then understanding what are the wants versus the needs of the person watching my video, and deriving the needs from the wants. Because, maybe someone watching this video is just like, oh, you're a scammer, this is all bullshit, you don't actually make millions. I don't see that as, again, they want me to not talk about this type of subject matter. I view that as, okay, this person needs me to overcome skepticism, and I need to assert my authority, not just through me saying that I'm rich, but then also showing proof, and then giving them so much ludicrous amounts of proof that they kind of look silly and stupid for saying some sort of comment like that. And so that is a derivation of wants versus needs. You guys getting all this? Is this all making sense in this video? So after doing this for years, I've been doing this now for, 7 years or so, and just doing this very frequently. It's not every day, but pretty much, lately it's been every day. There are periods where maybe I was just super antisocial, and I would just kind of stick to myself and just focus on doing whatever, just focus on making videos or hiring people and stuff, which still is kind of a form of yapping and cultivating beliefs and mindsets and articulating that well, and helping people understand what their vision is and helping them accomplish their vision. But as you start doing this and you start to kind of be cognizant of this skill set, and, it might piss off a bunch of people that my videos get so many views. This is why they get so many views. This is why so many people resonate with my content. Sometimes they don't, and I don't give a shit. Sometimes they get 300 views on a video, and I'm just like, fuck it. It's just part of the experience. Okay, that, maybe I could have started off the video better or had a more interesting subject. But my videos get lots of views because I know what the fuck I'm doing. I've done this for a long time. not to discourage you. You're like, oh, Dylan's been doing this a long time, I can't do it. But if you just start doing it, you get better at the process. And if you don't give up, and if you have a good mindset, watch all the other videos that give you better beliefs inside of this content, you'll start to become better and better at it. And then over time, once you get better at monetizing things, once you get better at running a business, once you get better at all these things, because the reason why I've been able to make it into so much money is because now I built systems around it. Now I built leverage around it. And now I have teams around it. Like I have a sales process. I have offers that I've created. I have fulfillment teams. I have different businesses that I have. I have like a freaking... I do have a real estate business. I don't really do it that much, but we're doing like syndication deals or something like that for... And yeah, that's a different conversation. I'll do like consults for different people and just different skill sets that I have, and that's just kind of separate. Like I'll just consult people all the time. I will do what else? So my faceless YouTube channels that I own and run, and that make a ton of money and running those. Like I have insane amounts of leverage, and because I have all these teams and these systems and these processes that I built, and then I match that with the skill set of yapping and leaning into that skill set of being a leader, of being a visionary, of being someone that's able to articulate it. And even in other stages when I was more of a builder, when I was more of like an introvert, when I was less of a communicator, like this power of yapping that I've developed has transformed all these different things. So if you guys like this video, it was a little bit different. My goal with this channel is to just brainwash you guys into being rich and successful, give you guys my beliefs, and also just be a testament of what it means when you show up for yourself, when you have a vision, when you're consistent, when you stay consistent, and you just persist for months and days and weeks and years and decades, and you keep doing that. My goal is to help you guys transform and change your lives through this process. And all that I ask is that you give a 5-star review whenever you see the forms that show up on YouTube, that you guys drop comments, that you guys like the videos, that you guys share this with people. And that's all I can ask for. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Even if 100 people or 10 people watch this and get to this point, I appreciate you. Genuinely. This is fun. I enjoy making these videos. So I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.